Have you ever played Two Truths and a Lie? It feels like the world that we live in right now is one big game of two truths and a lie as we try to figure out what's true and what's not every day. And then that causes me to think, why all the lies? And I think there are lots of reasons why we live in a world where there are a lot of lies, but I think that there's a primary reason. And the primary reason is the rejection of Jesus as God. Jesus said, I am the truth. And I think when we reject Jesus as God, we tend to go towards lies. And we have created this alternative reality that we live in. And so I'd like to talk with you for just a minute about how to live prepared without being paranoid. And I'd love to look at a letter that was written a couple thousand years ago to a group of people who were in the kind of the same boat that we're in right now. What's true and what's not. And I'll just read exactly what the letter says and then kind of give you my feedback on it. But first he says, don't be, and this is Paul, he says, don't be easily unsettled or alarmed. In other words, don't be tripped up by the truth. Some truth is so good it's hard to believe, and some truth is so bad it's hard to believe. But don't get first thing, don't get tripped up by the truth. Second, he says there's a secret power. He references a secret power of lawlessness that is already at work in the world. In other words, untruth is not unorganized. Untruth that's coming at us from all different angles is very, very organized. There's nothing random that happens in our world, okay? A third thing, he says, he references the one who holds it back, who holds the lies back. In other words, the lies have their limits. I know it feels like there's unlimited lies, but the lies have their limits right now, okay? We live in a time where the lies are limited, but a time is coming where the lies will not be limited. So I think this comes as a warning to us, okay? Number 4, he references displays of power through signs and wonders that kind of back the lies up. In other words, some lies will look good. Let's be honest. The reason we believe some lies is because they look good, and we've got to be careful about that. Okay, 5, he says God sends a powerful delusion. He says that God steps into all of the lies and he sends a powerful delusion. What's that powerful delusion? Well, here's what it is. Sometimes God gives us what we want. You can look historically at the way that God has dealt with human beings, and there are times where we want lies so bad, or we want things that are not true so bad, that he just gives us over to what we want. And number 6, Paul says that one day we will share in the glory of Jesus. Here is the truth that we are being shielded from. This is the absolute truth that we are being shielded from. God is ridiculously generous. And there are powers, as we've just studied, that don't want us to know that God is just ridiculously generous. His end game is that we would share his glory. He wants to share, think about it, he wants to share his glory with us. And all of these lies have been created so that we will not understand that very point. And then he says, don't let anyone deceive you. Well, easier said than done. How can we not be deceived? And then I'm just going to read one verse. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:15. So then, brothers and sisters, stand firm and hold fast to the teachings we passed on to you, whether by word of mouth or by letter. He says the way that you can live with all of these lies swirling around and trying to figure out what the truth is to hold fast to the teachings, to God's teachings. Here's my one point to this whole thing. Use this time right now to get to know this book. It's my one point to my TGIM today. Use this time to get to know this book. Thank God it's Monday.